Hi everyone, welcome to my blog again. Please do not forget to subscribe and to sign up. Today I'm going to discuss a very important question of the possible party bans in Georgia. Georgian Dream and Bidzina Ivanishvili himself has promised many times that he's going to ban opposition parties as opposition parties represent foreign agents. And they have campaigned on this issue even prior to elections, as well as from spring. They have been mentioning that creation of the commission within the unrecognized parliament, headed by former Minister of Justice and Minister of Culture, Georgian, aimed at presenting the basis for banning opposition parties. However, at times they refer to this as banning UNM and UNM affiliates, and at other times they are mentioning opposition parties altogether. Together with consulting company and advisory LYNX, we have developed 6 scenarios in which the developments will unfold. We have seen that very often Georgian Dream just campaigns on certain issues. In order to dominate the discourse, they put on the table what I call a dead rat, just to control the public discussion and avoid certain, most importantly, painful issues for them. And opposition basically follows this red herring very often. Unfortunately, in this regard, opposition is quite weak. So based on new methodology for Georgia, nobody has done that before, future foresight methodology, LYNX has put together a number of experts from many fields which are necessary in order to forecast scenarios on an important issue like this. Political scientists, IR specialists, security and intelligence specialists, specialists of Georgian studies and culture. And we have 6 scenarios in which developments may take place. I understand that this question is important because this will qualify whether Georgia still is a hybrid regime or it's a fully fledged authoritarianism. This will also determine whether anybody from kind of democratic countries will continue to invest in Georgia, what kind of tourists we will get, what relations Georgia will have with EU, will we maintain a candidate status, and other important questions like this. The first scenario is that the promise will be fulfilled and then all political parties, opposition parties, will be banned by the Constitutional Court. Is it plausible? Yes. Ivanishvili has packed Constitutional Court for a while. As you might remember, I've had a whole campaign for judicial independence for a couple of years. Unfortunately, did not succeed. Many people did not realize the risks of Ivanishvili turning seriously authoritarian and fully hijacking the country. This scenario is possible. He has full majority in the Constitutional Court, and therefore in this scenario, Georgia will establish itself as a fully authoritarian country with no opposition. I would say, personally, adding my 2 cents to this issue, this is less likely. The second, banning some parties while maintaining others and creating a discord among opposition parties. This scenario is possible and is highly likely. This is what happened during local elections, as 2 major coalitions from previous elections went into local elections. Many others didn't, and this created discord, confrontation, and in a way opposition parties canceling each other, which was a scenario very much desired by Bidzina and Georgian Dream. So if Ivanishvili bans some parties while he maintains other opposition parties, the suspicion will be created, the suspicion will emerge that the parties that have not been banned and individuals that have not been banned are in agreement with the ruling party, and this will create discord, confrontation, and will create advantageous position for the Georgian Dream. This is what happened in Venezuela, and I would say Georgian scenario is repeating Venezuela scenario 1-to-1 almost precisely. The third scenario is creation of new political forces alongside banning some old political forces. New political forces have been promised by Bidzina Ivanishvili even prior to elections. In a lengthy interview that he gave to the propaganda channel in October, Ivanishvili has mentioned that new political forces, responsible ones, non-UNM affiliated ones, should be created. And this promise has been repeated also by his comrades. So what might happen is that alongside cancelling some older, well-established opposition parties, Georgia doesn't have old opposition parties. It's a new democratic state, let's emphasize, not in the sense of kind of Western European countries and democratic traditions. So alongside cancelling existing opposition parties, some new forces will be fostered to occupy the role of puppet opposition, but create the image of hybrid regime, including in the parliament. The fourth scenario is the moving away from the discourse of 9 bloody years that dominated Georgian Dream. And that led Georgian Dream's dominance in politics. As we know, they never campaigned on political issues, they never campaigned on building schools, raising salaries, pensions. Actually, they did, but that wasn't their primary emphasis in the elections. Since the transition to power, they have always campaigned on the slogan of 9 bloody years, i.e. existence of Mikhail Saakashvili as a threat and his party UNM. However, in fact, they didn't do anything for real transition and what I have advocated for real truth and reconciliation that would move the country forward. So they might move away slowly from this rhetoric of everybody's UNM, everybody's 9 bloody years, and might retain the rhetoric and amplify the rhetoric of West foreign agents versus sovereignty, so-called sovereignty discourse that you see in many authoritarian countries as a way to justify authoritarian rule. The fifth scenario is that all of that will justify, of course, controlling the discourse. What Georgian Dream did a while ago when the natural catastrophe in Raja, in the mountainous Georgia, happened, when they initiated the idea of impeaching then President Salome Zurabishvili, which they didn't achieve. And they couldn't achieve because they didn't have the required majority. And by doing that, they shifted the focus from the natural disaster of Shovi, and for 2 months they only spoke about the campaign to impeach the person they couldn't impeach. Georgian media is prone to being deceived, and Georgian opposition is prone to follow this mistake. That is one of the reasons why Ivanishvili maintains control of the discourse, because Georgian opposition usually follows this dead red. And the last most important measure that Georgian Dream could use, the ruling party could use, is to use this opportunity as a way to bargain with EU and the US. As some measures are pending in the EU and the US, including Megabarry Act, as EU is preparing to remove some of Georgian Dream's enforcers from visa liberalization, there is a possibility that this idea, the concept of banning opposition parties, will be used as a way to bargain with the West. It will be put on the shelf by the Constitutional Court, which it can do. It can protract these hearings for many months, and in the meantime, use it as a leverage to bargain with the West. That's a measure combined with other possible scenarios, not standalone. I have to say these ideas, as I understand, can be used conjunctively or independently. So I hope this was interesting. Please do sign up, share this blog, because this is my way, an independent way to put out whatever's going in the region to the world. See you.